NBA history is filled with countless what-ifs. What if Derrick Rose never suffered such a horrible knee injury? What if LeBron had chosen to sign with the Bulls rather than the Heat? What if all-time greats like Steve Nash or Carmelo Anthony just had one other piece on their team that brought them to a championship and changed their legacy forever? What if Giannis or Embiid were drafted by a different team? How would their careers turn out differently? These are all questions that will be answered in this video series as I resimulate the NBA from the 09-10 season up until the current year as we watch together as history writes itself. If you would like to watch me do this live, go to my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/bigbird4. The link is at the top of the description. For this series, I recreated the entire 09-10 roster from stars to benchwarmers to free agents. I calibrated for every single factor for each player, including ratings, contracts, their player growth and potential, and even appearance. If you want to get a more in-depth look at the roster I made, here's a video I made on that where I go through each team and show you all the players I included. In the previous episode, in the second round, the well-rounded Sixers faced the 7th seed Heat, who upset the Knicks in the previous round behind a stellar performance from Dwayne Wade. Everybody's expecting a close matchup, but most everyone agrees that the Sixers will win this series. The only real threat the Heat pose is Dwayne Wade, and the Sixers have one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA with Iguodala, alongside great stars in Elton Brand, rookie Drew Holiday, as well as Lou Will off the bench to provide great energy. However, the Heat win Game 1 by 11, as Chris Quinn continues to show his talents and scores 25 points. Game 2 is a close one, as Wade hits a floater to pull the Heat within 4 with a little over a minute left. Holiday tries to match his floater but misses, and Wade hits another one to make it a one-possession game. Dallenberg decides to extend his range and pulls up for 3, but Brand is there to put it back in. The Heat call a timeout, and this is the play they go with? Sorry to break the fourth wall here, but come on 2K. I know you fixed some of these issues in next gen, but the AI can be so brazenly stupid in this game it hurts. Please fix your game. If you can have a Hall of Fame mode that will crush me anytime I play against it, you can transfer the AI over to neutral games like this. I don't get why that would be so hard. Anyways, back to the reset. Despite scoring a quick 3 the next play, the game's over, and the series is tied 1-1. In Game 3, Elton Brand slams in this dunk with 2 minutes left in the game, bringing the Sixers' lead up to 7. However, Chris Quinn proves himself yet again and hits a 3 in response. He then drives in the lane, misses, but puts it back, making it a 2-point game. Lou Will breaks a 2, and Wade takes it up on a fast break and gets to the line. He hits his free throws and the game is all tied up. The Heat force another miss, and Wade again scores in a fast break. On the other end, Willie Green comes off 2 screens to find himself wide open at the 3-point line, and drills it to bring the Sixers up by 1. There's only 30 seconds left in the clock, but the Heat decide to save their timeouts. They're able to find Dorrell Wright wide open in the corner for a 3, but he misses. Jermaine O'Neal is able to put it back in, the Heat are now up, and the Sixers have the last possession. Holiday decides to go on a one-man show and dribbles around trying to find space. He drives in and lucks out by getting fouled from behind by O'Neal. He hits both his free throws and it's a 1-point game with just 10 seconds left for the Heat to win it. They try to inbound it to Wade, but he can't manage to get open. Haslam finds Chalmers in the corner, who shoots by Drew Holiday, but gets wrecked at the rim by Thaddeus Young, who comes in clutch with a terrific defensive stop, and the Sixers win another game. Iggy scores 30 in the next matchup in a 20-point blowout, and it seems the Heat had lost their steam. Game 5 wasn't pretty, as the Sixers held Dwayne Wade to just 14 points with 2 minutes to go. However, the Sixers didn't have anyone who showed up either, and the game was tied at 94. Wade drives in for the slam, and Iguodala responds the next play in similar fashion. It's still tied up with just a minute left, and Holiday blows by his defenders to get to the rim. However, O'Neal manages to rotate over and swats his shot. The Heat run up in transition and Wade stuffs it in. Holiday takes the ball up and finds Iguodala in the corner. Iggy was feeling it, and
in the corner, Iguodala with it. Count it!
The Heat call a timeout and try to go for a 2-for-1, but take just a little too long as Chalmers misses the fadeaway. They're forced to foul Rodney Carney, who knocks down both his free throws. It's still a one-possession game, however, and the Heat are still in it with just 20 seconds to go. They decide to go for a 2-for-1 again and feed Wade in the post, who sinks the fadeaway. Holiday hits his free throws on the other end, and the Heat have just 9 seconds to get the ball up the court for a 3. Chalmers finds Wright in the transition, who pulls up for the 3 and he hits it. His foe is on the line, however, so the Sixers are still up. The Heat foul Carney, and he scores his first free throw. However, his second one?
Second free throw, no good that time. He really wanted that one. Iguodala with the steal.
Oh,
And an
no.
intentional foul right
Oh, man.
And just like that, the Sixers are on their way to the conference finals. The next matchup of the East was the Cavaliers and Celtics. This is the series that fans were really tuning into, as they were both potential title contenders. LeBron comes out to play in Game 1, and the Cavs win by 24. He shows up in Game 2 as well, nearly having a 50-point 5x5, but his individual performance wasn't enough to beat the solid Celtics team. LeBron follows up with another 47-point game, and this time blows the Celtics out yet again. The Celtics get within 5 in Game 4, but after this classic slam by LeBron, it looked like the Celtics were done. In Game 5, after a mix-up between Ilgauskas and West, Ray Allen finds himself wide open with a corner 3 and drills it. LeBron takes it and responds.
Now here's James. It's good! A huge shot to tie it up.
Rasheed responds with a stuff by the rim. LeBron finds Mo Will, who takes a step in and misses the entire rim. With just 30 seconds left, Garnett takes it up in the paint, getting fouled by Ilgauskas. I suppose the referees felt bad for the fumble with the Hawks, as Big Z got all ball on this block. He responds on the other end with an easy 2 by the rim, making it a one-possession game. The Cavs press and force the Celtics to pass into Rondo, who misses a free throw. LeBron finds Delonte for the wide-open 3 in transition, but he narrowly misses it, and the Celtics take Game 5. Garnett leads the Celtics to a blowout victory in Game 6, so it all comes down to this last game. With a minute left in the game, the Cavs are down by 3. If you take a moment to analyze this matchup, you may notice a few things that don't seem quite right. Firstly, Big Z is bringing the ball up the court. Secondly, and more importantly, there is not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 big men out on the court for the Cavaliers. Somehow Big Z busts his park moves out and hits this jumper. On the other end, Shaq commits on the double on Garnett, leaving Rasheed wide open for this easy 2. The Cavs call a timeout, and Larry Brown comes to his senses and brings back in his guards. LeBron takes the ball in on the spin move, but gets his shot swatted from behind by Rasheed. The Celtics take the ball up, and they need to score this possession to seal the series. Rondo takes it in and misses, but he grabs the rebound. He knocks down his free throws, and the Celtics win the series. In the West, the Jazz are facing off against the Denver Nuggets. Melo misses Game 1, but the Nuggets still blow out the Jazz by Nene for 24 points. Carmelo is ruled healthy for Game 2, and he goes on a tear. This matchup ends up not even being a contest, as the Nuggets blow out the Jazz in all 4 games, and advance to the next round. The next matchup is the New Orleans Hornets and the LA Lakers. No one expects Chris Paul to beat out the reigning champs, but it's expected to be a great showing, and that is exactly what we got. Game 1 is a close one, as Al Thornton narrows the Lakers' lead to 5 with under a minute to go. However, as Bynum scores in the post, this game is over. Kobe scores 35 in Game 2 to lead Lakers to 2 straight wins, but the Hornets show up on their home court in Game 3. They're up by 3 with a little over a minute to go, and have got possession. Chris Paul misses the quick 3, but West grabs the rebound and tries to put it back, getting swatted by Gasol. In transition, the Lakers find Artest, who drills the 3, tying up the game. Kobe runs up the court the next possession and slams in this ferocious dunk by the rim, giving the Lakers the lead. But with just 20 seconds left, Chris Paul pulls up from just inside the three-point line and drills it, tying the game up at 105. Kobe dribbles it out and misses the game winner, so this game was going to overtime. Overtime ends up being close, but Posey calls game with this end-of-the-shot clock jumper. Game 4 is close as well, but the Lakers pull ahead, taking a 3-1 lead in the series. Paul balls out in Game 5, going 41, 9, and 7, winning the game. Game 6 is another nail-biter. With 50 seconds left, Paul finds Thornton for the open 3, and he drills it. Artest tries to respond with a 3 of his own, but misses it. The Lakers manage to pick off a pass, however, and get into Kobe in the paint, who hits this fadeaway with just 20 seconds left. Al Thornton knocks down his free throws on the other end, and the Lakers call their last timeout. Farmer finds Kobe in the paint, and he scores the and one, tying the game at 1:15. The Hornets have the last possession, and it is up to Paul to tie the series up at 3 apiece. However, as he comes off the screen by Okafor, he hesitates on pulling up, and we're yet again going to overtime. It looks to be a close game, but after this swap by Odom and Farmer scoring an and one on this fast break, the series is over, and the Lakers will yet again face the Nuggets in the conference finals. To start the series, most analysts favored the Lakers to come out on top, but Kobe had strained his back in Game 5 against the Hornets, and it really started to bother him during the first game against the Nuggets. The Lakers still held their own in Game 1, but Melo ends up leading his team to victory. Game 2 showed not only Kobe's age, but the rest of his team, as Bynum tears his calf muscle and Gasol bruises his thigh. Odom also fouls out in the early fourth quarter, leaving Luke Walton and DJ Mbega as the only options for big men. Despite their health issues, they managed to keep the game competitive, and are down by just 4 with a minute left to go. Kobe finds Gasol for the slam to make it a 2-point game, then hits a 3 in the corner, giving the Lakers the lead. Melo responds the next play with a quick and easy 2 by the rim. The Lakers call a timeout, but Farmer decides to ignore the play Phil Jackson had drawn up, and takes it to the rim himself. Surprisingly, he scores it, and the Lakers are up yet again. Ty Lawson dribbles up and dishes up a great alley-oop to Melo, who slams it down. Kobe runs up in transition for the 2-for-1 jumper, but misses. Melo dribbles out the clock, but isn't able to score the mid-range shot. There's only 5 seconds left, and the Lakers call timeout. They've already lost Game 1 on their home court, and if they lose this one, they're pretty much done for, especially with all the injuries they've already suffered. This game is entirely on Kobe's shoulders, and if he wants to win yet another ring, he's going to have to make this play work. Walton inbounds it to Kobe, and he takes a moment at the top of the key to survey his options. He decides to dart in and pulls up from the free throw line and...
Top of the key.
Oh!
So it's the Nuggets taking the W in a close one.
Kobe.
And this win puts them squarely in the driver's seat in this series. Up now ranked. All right, David, thank you.
The Nuggets blow the Lakers out in the next 2 games, and just like that, their chances at repeat dies in 4 games. Could things have been different if they hadn't suffered so many injuries? It certainly worked out for them in real life, but this is a different reality. And in this universe, the Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals. The Eastern Conference Finals looked to be an easy matchup for the Celtics, who had 2 tough matchups in the first rounds against the Magic and Cavaliers, both series going to 7 games. It was clear that both rounds had taken a toll on the aging Celtics, and they lose Game 1 by a decent margin. The Sixers had 2 5-game matchups in a row, and were coming out to play. They're able to keep up their ferocity in Game 2, and have another 20-point blowout. In Game 3, the Celtics trio still struggle to find their spark, but lucky for them, Rondo picks up the slack and scores 34 points, bringing the Celtics a much-needed victory. Unfortunately for the Celtics, fatigue proved too much for their team to bear, and they lose the next 2 games, and the 76ers are going to advance to the NBA Finals. This is a matchup that no one expected to see at the start of the season. The Sixers didn't even make the playoffs in real life, but here they are in the NBA Finals. Yes, the road may have been easy, but they still have proven themselves against the Celtics in the conference finals, and they certainly earned their spot. As for the Nuggets, this is the furthest they've ever made it into the playoffs, and they are the favorites to win it all. Their team was good enough to make it to the conference finals last year, and with the addition of Ty Lawson, their team is even better now. To start Game 1, Iguodala comes down with the flu, and it looks like he'll have to sit out. He instead decides to push through the pain and goes off, scoring 34 and dishing out 9 assists. Unfortunately, this amazing display wasn't enough, as Melo scores 45 and blows the Sixers out by 20. In Game 2, Iggy locks down Melo and holds him to just 14 points, but the Nuggets still pull off a victory. Game 3 was a different story, however, as Iggy again clamps down Melo and forces him to have 7 turnovers and shoot just 38% from the field, leading the Sixers to victory. Unfortunately, Iggy couldn't keep up his great defensive play, and Melo goes off for 34 in Game 4, leading the Nuggets to victory. Game 5 is a must-win for the Sixers, who seem to have lost all momentum. Everyone was hoping for them to show up and fight back, but it just wasn't meant to be. Melo drops 54 in his last game, and he wins his first ring and his first Finals MVP of his NBA career. Nuggets fans are ecstatic, as this team has brought Denver its first championship in NBA history. So it's official. In this universe, Carmelo won a ring before LeBron. There's still many years for LeBron to win his titles, however, as this is really where the series gets interesting. Will Miami still form their super team? Will the Celtics manage to re-sign Rondo and Pierce, as both their contracts expire? Who will get the chance to draft the hyped-up prospects of John Wall and Boogie Cousins? Find out in the next installment of the series, or go watch the recap on my Twitch channel. I will be streaming every season live, so go follow me on Twitch so you can watch this all happen in real time. But until then, thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.